Well, hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm the Associate Broker Residential Sales Manager at ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 270. And if I sound a little weird, it's because I have a cough drop in my mouth. So, anyways, I hope everybody's having a good week. I am working through that cold that I had last week. It has settled nicely into my lungs. This is how it works for me. Literally since I would probably say about the early 90s or so. About April, May or so, every other year, maybe every third year, I get a really nice little chest cold. Sinks into my lungs. I sit up hacking up weird things in the shower. And, so on and so forth. And this is one of those lucky years. So, not really much of a problem, except that I'm pretty sure my oxygen levels are a little low. According to my little monitor, my heart rate's up a little bit more beats per minute than I'm used to. But, yeah, it's one of the joys of being human and being encased in this mortal flesh. So, I hope you guys like the intro. I haven't used that in years. Because, yes, we're going to cover a Weasel of the Week. And I should call him a Weasel of the Year because I really don't do them as often. I have a weekly Weasel, although Weasels do abound. But most of them just don't hit that threshold that they're really video worthy. But this particular case, I got a pretty good one. So you're going to see a lot of pauses here because I'm going to try to hit cough and pause and then cough. So pause and we're back. See how that works? So if you see that happen, or it's not me suddenly deciding to edit my videos. That's just me showing concern for you, my viewers. So real estate. This is episode 270. Our numbers for the week. Let's start and get those out of the way because we got to get to them. And let's see if we can get through this without hitting the cough button. These are the numbers for April 8th, 2026. Actives this week are 25,651, up 245 from last week. Our new listings are 2,440, down 167. Contracts that are 2,601, down 177. And closings last week were 1,560. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 689 new listings. Our Cromford report supply is at 106.2. Our demand is at 88.2, which means our Cromford number has moved up to an 83.1 from 83 last week. Looking at our local neighborhoods and everything, we have the biggest winners right now are Goodyear, up 20% month over month. They went from 69 to 83. They're still technically in a buyer's market in there, but that is a huge surge. No idea what's going out there. Second runners up on that are going to be Tempe, all right, and Maricopa. So our biggest loser is Cave Creek. Cave Creek is like the opposite of Tempe. It fluctuates back and forth. Not a lot of houses, but a lot of swings. So anyway, so we are looking at the highest house population out there being Chandler, leading the pack at 154, and our lowest one is Buckeye, although Buckeye moved up 4%. But Maricopa moved up 11. So that's where we're at the market. It's fun because you can say it's all regional. Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? We, as a region, as an area, is considered a buyer's market. But when you get into the very specific little areas, well, some neighborhoods are hotter than others. So remember, guys, location, location, location. Trying to get rid of the glare in my eyes. So let's talk about this week. All right, that should take care of that. I think I got that little lung tickle out. So anyways, this week, the Weasel of the Week was originally created back in the day when, if I remember right, there was a company out there who would send you an envelope, send you a missive going, do you want a certified copy of your deed? This will help protect you later on from fraud and this and that and the other thing. And it happened to come from an office right around the corner from my house. So I went out there and it was like a post office box. Right. And this is one of those things is like they're going to ask you $99 for something that you literally already have in your closing packet. You literally already possess one of these things with as much validity as what they're going to send you. But the trick is nobody actually goes through their closing package, which is huge, and their copies to find that copy of their deed in there. So, that's created the whole Weasel Week. Well, this week, right? And this is a fun saga. So pull up a chair, light a cigarette, get your favorite drink going. Let's tell you the saga of the roofs. So, I think I alluded to in the last couple podcasts, roofs are a thing. Honestly, it's not that you're buying a house. You're buying a roof with 4 walls under, And if your roof doesn't roof, then you really don't have a house. You have some sort of weird sunshade, but it doesn't keep the rain out. So as houses are built in large blocks, and some cities grow faster than other cities, you will get areas like right now Chandler and Gilbert, in that area, where all the houses are roughly of the same age, especially if you're looking at a certain price point. All right, so if you're at a certain price point, odds are you're going to be buying houses of a certain age if you're in a certain neighborhood. Does that make sense? All right, like Maryville. Maryville was built, right, post-war. All those houses were built in the 50s. So if you want to live in Maryville and you only have so much to spend, you're going to wind up looking at the same age of house, all right, and the same type of house over and over and over again. So if you were in certain areas, like I would say North Phoenix, I would say Gilbert, Chandler, parts of Glendale and Peoria right now, the odds are you're going to be looking at houses that are built in the 1990s. Some are going to be built a little bit, in the early aughts, but mostly that's going to be your time frame. And if you're going out there, there's 2 types of roofs, all right? Actually, there's multiple types of roofs, but there's 2 of them where they're prevalent. We got more of them. Basically, you have your tile roofs. Okay, those are the ones with nice little tiles on them. And then you have your basic asphalt shingle roofs. Each one of these roofs age at a different time frame. Now, for a tile roof in particular, it's not so much the tiles age, because they're basically baked clay. It's the underlayment. Right, and that underlayment gets old. And here in Arizona, underlayment generally lasts anywhere between 18 and 25 years. Right, depending on exposure, weathering, original installation, blah, 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 blah. So, suddenly realize I'm drilling from the cough drop here. So if you're looking at a lot of houses that are, that odds are they were built in the 90s and whatnot, you're going to be looking at that roof. Is that roof ever had the underlayment replaced? And I'm not saying they're going to take off all of the shingle or all of the tiles, right? But what they're going to do and replace them, they're going to take the tiles off, store them, and then pull up that tar paper underneath, okay, which we call the underlayment, and replace any wood issues that you find in there. All right, because, if that underlayment starts going, you start getting moisture penetration, the wood starts rotting, so you'll have to actually replace that. New underlayment, put the tiles back on, nail everything down, clean the gutters out. Bob's your uncle. That's what we call a new roof. So, I have some buyers. I think I alluded to in the last podcast. Went under contract, bad roof. Tell the seller it's a bad roof. Seller goes, I'm not replacing the roof. Okay, we're not buying the house. So we pull out of the contract. We get another house under contract. Now, funny little aside story. I use the same inspectors. All right, love these guys. All right, if my buyers have their own inspector, we can use whoever they want. We can even use their father. Although I'll make you sign a piece of paper saying that was a bad idea. All right, but we do these inspections, and the day we're doing the inspection on our second house, our inspector who did the first house mentions that he has to go out to the new or original house and do a sewer scope, because we did not do a sewer scope on that particular house, which is fascinating. All right, and I'm thinking about it, and I realized I'm pretty sure that owner agent who's selling that property gave a copy of our home inspection to the new buyers. And the new buyers read it and went, oh, cool. Well, we can work with this, but the only thing we don't see on this is the sewer scope, so we're going to have the sewer scope done. Let's call the same company who did the original inspection. Now, remember, we pulled out of that house because the roof is old. That owner agent swore up and down the roof was fine. That she just had a couple little leaks. She took care of them all. The leaks have been maintained. All right. Blah, 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 blah. If your roof is leaking, you do not have a good roof. Just because you fix the roof does not mean you have a good roof. It means you have a roof that is at the end of its life. All right. So I'm pretty sure, and this is one of the things in my mind I always wonder, is when she gave them our inspection and said, hey, inspect it, did she bother to give them the roof inspection? Because if you read our inspection, it says the roof was not inspected because we used a third party. And the roof inspection will be included on the third party report. Now, she had already sent me her third party, her roofer. And that roofer said, oh, no, the roof is fine, but he wouldn't warranty and he wouldn't guarantee it. Okay, so that's important. That's house number 1. So now we're at house number 2. And to set the stage, we like house, we make an offer on the house. They counter us back. Okay, I go to counter the counter, and I call the agent up and goes, what is it your guy wants? Does he want the price or does he want the closing costs? All right, let's figure out where we're going with this. And he goes, well, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, okay, here's my client's concern. This is important. Start writing down the time frame on this. I come back and I say, all right, we're concerned because we just pulled out of a house because the roof was bad. I don't like the look at your roof, right? I don't like the age of your air conditioner. Those are the two things we can't tell off the top of our head. If you can tell me what's going on with your roof and air conditioning, all right, we will write our counteroffer this way. If you can't guarantee us give us any information on the roof and air conditioning, we're going to walk. So they come back and he goes, well, the roof was done in 2018 and the air conditioner was done in 2024 or 23, something like that. I'm like, great. So we send out the counter. They accept it. We're done. We're in contract. The next day I get the spuds. That's a document. You guys remember the seller's disclosing what they know about the property to the buyer. And the spud says that they don't know the age of the roof and that the air conditioning unit is 12 years old. Completely opposite of what the agent had relayed to me the day before. So I call the agent up. Of course, he doesn't answer. And I just leave him a voicemail going, hey, we got to talk about the discrepancies in your spuds. And he calls me, oh, man, real sorry, da-da-da-da-da. He thought I was asking the last time he had work done on it. And I said, well, why did you use the word new? Anyways, so, okay, well, we're under contract. Let us get the home inspection done. Let me tell you, I'll let you know right now. If the roof's bad, we're asking for a roof. And he goes, oh, no, the roof has got a 15-year warranty on it. Really? 15-year warranty? Show me the documentation. And I get this thing eventually. And it was an invoice. It was actually dated July 1st, 2025. Remember that date, kids. It gets important later on in the story. All right, saying that some work was done, some tiles were replaced, a gutter was cleared out, all right, and the underlayment was inspected and found to have at least another 15 years of life. And this is not a warranty. Literally says on there, this is not a warranty. So I called the guy up and said, okay, I'm looking at what you sent me, and you said it was warranted for 15 years. That's not a warranty. It says right on there, it is not a warranty. All right. So, great. There we are. Now, our roof inspector gets up there, and it's an original roof. Right. It's original to the house when the house was built in 1996. So, what the seller has written down on the spuds, which is what we call in the business discoverable, is enough information to cover his ass. I don't know how old the roof is. I've only owned it for the last 12 years. It could have been replaced 13 years ago. All right, so we're good with that. All right, and we come back. Roof. A couple other things. Roof. No, we're not. And he's like, well, we looked at your roof inspection. We don't agree with it. Okay, I've already done this game 3 times. All right, this is what we're going to do. You have your roofer that you last year on July 1st. All right, go on the roof and say he has 15 years. Have him perform the same test. Do the same videos. All right. Send it to us with his argument on why the roof is good. All right. And I'll take that to my clients and we'll decide whether or not we want to proceed. But just so you know, roof. So instead of getting all that information, we get a response to our, yeah, we'll give you $3,000 extra in closing costs. Now our quote's like 10.9. Okay, we're about $11,000 on our quote from our roofer. I'm calling the guy and said, what do you think about, what's this 3-bit? And his response was, well, you got to remember, he's dealing with his costs, all right? And he, it would cost him a lot less to get that roof done. I'm like, really? So he's offering what it would cost him to get the roof done to us, but he won't actually pay that person directly across to do the roof. All right. I'm like, all right, send me an invoice. Send me the quote. Send me the quote from the roofer. Now, we're on a time crunch here. Right. Remember, we have 10 days to do a home inspection. We send you the Benzer. Okay. This is what we found out about the house. We like it. We're going to buy it. We hate it. We're going to leave. Oh, we got some concerns like this bad roof that you're trying to fork over on us. We would like to get the roof addressed somehow. How do you propose to address the roof? Their response was, they have 5 days to get back to us. They got back to us in a day, 3,000. All right. We're looking at $11,000 worth of repairs. You promised us that that the roof was good. We accepted, we modified our offer to you with the understanding that you had just told us that the roof was replaced in 2018. That has found out to be a lie. And I'm telling the client, I'm telling the agent, my client thinks your client's a liar. I think your client's a liar. I think he is lying. I think he's lying to you and through you lying to us. Oh, no, he's not a liar. You just don't understand what contracting. I have a contractor license. And I'm like, great. So you know exactly how bad this is. You know exactly how bad this is. In fact, I would say you actually have a higher level of understanding than your average real estate agent is, how bad this particular concern is. All right. So, anyways, argue, And then he sends me his quote from this roofing company. I've seen a lot of roofing quotes. I've been doing this for quite some time now. I've seen a lot of quotes from a lot of different contractors. I have never seen a quote, all right, for roof done. Now, I have heavily screenshotted this out and removed names and whatnot. All right. But this document right here, that's the kind of stuff you find on the third page of a quote. Okay, you can see right up there. I had to actually cut out the name of this company. We'll get to that here in a second. But that's when they wrote the quote. Okay. Now remember, on that date, we've already been having this conversation for quite some time. All right. And here's a couple of things. It's basically saying just project details and scope of work. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be using safety standards. We're going to be using double layers of 40-pound tar paper designed for long-term durability and protection. Special attention will be given to roof valleys. This is the boilerplate. What I get is a Word document of boilerplate. And at the end of the bottom, it says, quote will be $7,000. So that's pretty much their argument. They're sitting there going, did I actually run out of charge on this? What the hell? We get this thing. And my first thought, which I think is completely valid, is, okay, so I was trying to get this guy up to at least pay for half the roof. And then he comes back with, oh no, three is the half because it'll cost my guy $7. Okay, send me the invoice. And send me the invoice made out to my client, or the quote to my client, so they will honor it. And this is what we get. Now let me show you what a real roofing quote looks like. A real roofing quote likes this. Clearly defined. You have all the boilerplate, right? This is how they break out, and they break out exactly what they're going to do. We're going to remove the existing shingles down to the deck. We're going to re-nail any loose wood. If there's any rotten wood discovered, it's going to be replaced at a cost of $90 per sheet. All right. We're going to install this type of underlayment. We're going to install this new metal drip edge. All right. We're going to install starter strip shingles along all the eave line. It breaks down exactly what they're going to do. I just grabbed this one. I got 4 more that read just like this. Right, from different companies. This is what real roofing companies use. Not this. All right. Now, some of you guys know that before I lost my mind and decided to get into real estate, I used to be in IT. All right. I was a guy who fixed your computers. You could find me underneath your desk, blowing out that small kitten worth of dust that collected up inside your cooling fans and stuff. But I know things about computers. And I also know that this is a Word document because the file extension is .docx. And I know that if you use any Office document, you can do a right click on the document and go down to something called properties. And you can click on the properties and it will tell you the meta information of the file. And so you can sit there and go, this looks weird. And so I click on the meta information and I will suddenly discover, now I have blocked out this name. All right, I have the original copy. I blocked this out specifically for this. That the author of this document was actually the owner of the company, of the house, not the roofing company. That's his name right there. Now, in case you're starting to wonder, well, what happens if he just saved it to his desktop and then emailed it across? If you save a doc like that to your desktop and then email it across, you will see the authors and then you'll see the last saved by. In the original document here, you see that he both created it and then saved it. I'm a little weirded out about this little print job right here, to be honest with you, but it took him 3 minutes, total editing time, to cut and paste that together, and he created it at 8 o'clock on March 30th. The next day, after I got it, because he sent it out that day and I was playing with it, you can see, that I took this doc, modified it just a little bit to see, to put my touch on it. So my Outlook package or Office package would say, hey, Ray's touched this. And you can see there's your creation date right there. Last printed date is actually really cool. It's in there to make sure that you can, in case somebody's printing up your secret docs and whatnot, you'll know what the last copies are. So, and you see, I actually had that file open for an hour and a minute. All right. So, you notice up here, something roofing company? That's where I start. Now I'm really going down the rabbit hole. The company that he used for this quote doesn't exist, is not registered with the Register of Contractors, because you can download as an entire Excel file that they update regularly. So in case you ever need to look up a particular contractor, you can do a Control F, type in the contractor's name. And to experiment, I did every freaking contractor I know, 3 different roofing companies that all came up. All right. Real roofing companies, but not the one that he was using this quote from. And then I went back. Okay, and by going back, I went back and I looked at that first, remember that first thing we were talking about, the July 1st, 2025, oh, this roof is fine, it's good for 15 years? That one, too, was created the day before they sent it over. So, long story short, I didn't even have to tell my clients this. They punched out because, hey, they're not going to pay for the roof, and they're not. I didn't even have to tell them this. They don't know this actually happened. So, this is what I mean by the attention to detail you have to have as a real estate agent. Because these guys exist. These guys are out there. And I am of 2 minds. Half my office thinks that agent, the seller's agent, is complicit. All right, that he knows what he knows. And he knows this is all bullshit. My broker thinks you should call him up and say, hey, dude, you got a problem. Your client's a liar. I already told your client's a liar. I got proof your client's a liar. And it's going to make you look bad. But I don't feel the need to make that call. And I don't want. I'm still working. It's like, hey, you know what? Here's my opinion. He's faking docs. He's making you push fake docs across. And it's going to be really bad for you, one of these. But that guy's got like a whole 20 days left on that listing. And I don't think he's going to close. But he'll probably be out of it. And, but But yeah, this is example of some of the stuff that we're seeing out in real estate nowadays. Especially agents who do not know the whys. They just know the whats. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. What do I need to do next? I do this, but they don't know why they're doing it. Right. And buyer beware. Seriously. And when I say buyer beware, I don't worry about buying the house beware. I'm like, care about the frickin' real estate agent you're working with. All right. If they're not able to dig this deep into these quotes and stuff like that, well, there's a really, real serious problem. Right. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get this funky. Things are not going to get this weird. All right. But when it does get weird, I mean, when the going gets weird, the weird go professional. And I am a professional. So, watch children, pets around water. Do not drive in anything flooded. Okay, work your circles every day. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you all later.